Don't scroll. If this reading has appeared in front of you today, don't assume it's about coincidence. Take a slow breath and set inside that your eyes think they know. Because the energy in these cards tells a very different story. The person connect to your energy may be carrying something they never expected to carry. The weight of their own choices. Whatever this message resonates with you, your situation or not, allow yourself to listen with an opening heart. As I turn over the next card, you don't skip. And I don't feel anger. I don't even feel pride, I feel heaviness. It is a kind of heaviness that settles into someone's heart when they finally begin to understand the consequences of their actions. Sometimes people don't realize what they had until silence becomes louder than words. Sometimes distance becomes the greatest teacher. And sometimes the lesson arrives far too late. So this card shows someone standing at the crossroads. Outwardly, they may appear to be living their life as usual, working, smiling, taking with other people, keeping themselves busy. But behind the surface, something keeps pulling them back towards the past, towards a conversation that never happened, towards words they wish they could take back, towards a version of themselves they no longer recognize. This reading, it's not about judging another person. It's about understanding energy. Because every choice creates a ripple. Every action leaves an imprint. And sooner or later, every soul is invited to face the reflection of that what is has created. As I continue looking into these cards, I see someone replaying moments over and over in their mind. Not because they enjoy remembering, because they cannot escape remembering. There are nights when everything becomes quiet. And that is when the truth grows louder. Not because anyone forced it upon them, but because their own heart refused to stay silent. The next card carries important message for you. Please don't make mistake. Don't make mistake of believing that another person's inner journey defines your worth. Whatever someone recognizes your value today, tomorrow, or never, your value has never depended on another person's awareness. The cards encourage you to release the need for external validation. Because the moment you stop chasing answers, your own peace becomes stronger than the questions. Now, I want you to focus on the second part of this reading, because this card speaks about mirrors. Spirit often teaches us through reflection. Sometimes another person's regret becomes a mirror that reminds us never to abandon ourselves again. Sometimes disappointment becomes the doorway to self-respect. Ask yourself, what has this experience taught you about your own boundaries? About the love you deserve? About the standards you refuse to lower ever again? That is where your true transformation begins. The energy continues to deepen. I see someone standing in front of a closed door. Not because every door should remain closed forever, but because healing requires honesty. And without honesty, no relationship, no friends, no connection can become healthy again. The cards invite you to stop carrying responsibility for choices that were never yours. Release the habits of asking, what could I have done differently? Instead, ask, what have I learned that will protect my peace from this day forward? That question changed everything. Because this reading, it's not ultimately about another person's journey. It's about yours and your journey. It's leading toward greater clarity, greater confidence, and a future where you no longer need uncertainty to define your story. Let's continue. Let's continue turning the cards because the next message reveals why this connection, going upside down, entered your life in the first place. As I turn next card, the atmosphere shifts. The energy becomes quieter, not empty, just quieter. Almost like someone who has spent a long time running from their own thoughts has finally reached a place where there is nowhere left to run. This card doesn't speak about punishment. It speaks about realization. Sometimes realization arrives in a single moment. Sometimes it takes months. Sometimes it takes years, but when it arrives, it's changed the way a person sees everything what's happened before. I keep sensing that this connection has never truly disappeared from the energetic field. It may have changed, it may have become distant, it may have become silent, but there is still something unfinished there. Not necessarily another chapter together, but a lesson that still wants to be understood. The cards are asking you not to become trapped in the question. What are they thinking? Instead, ask yourself, what if this experience preparing me for? Because every difficult connection either becomes a prison or it becomes a doorway. The choice belongs to you. As I look deeper into this spread, I notice something really interesting. The first few cards were focused on the past. Now every card begins pointing toward your future. Spirits is gently redirecting your attention. Why? Because too much energy has been invested in looking backward. Imagine driving a car while standing only into the rearview mirror. Eventually, you miss the road in front of you. The same things happen emotionally. The past deserves understanding, but it's not deserve permanent control over your future. There is another symbol appearing here, a bridge. One side represents the version of yourself that kept waiting for explanation. The other side represents a version of yourself that no longer needs them in order to move forward. Which version are you becoming? Answer in the comments. Talk with the universe. That is the real question hidden inside this reading. I also feel many of you have changed far more than you realize. You don't react the same way anymore. You don't tolerate the same behavior. You don't chase every unanswered message. You don't lose sleep trying to solve every mystery. That isn't emotional distance. That is emotional maturity. Celebrate it because growth often happens so gradually that we fail to notice it. So the next card carries a message I hope you truly hear. Never confuse silence with your value. Sometimes people become silent because they are overwhelmed. Sometimes because they are confused. Sometimes because they don't yet know how to express themselves honestly. And sometimes silence simply marks the end of one chapter. The reason isn't always the same, which is why the cards invite you not to build your identity around another person's silence. Instead, build your identity around your own truth, around your own peace, around your own ability to love yourself with consistency. That kind of foundation cannot be taken away. Now, I feel Spirit asking you to release one more thing. They need to predict every outcome. You have been trying to understand exactly what comes next. Exactly when, exactly how, exactly why, but life rarely unfolds according to certainty. It unfolds according to timing. There are opportunities already moving towards you that this card suggests you cannot yet fully see. New conversation, new experiences, new people, new confidence. Don't become so focused on the unfinished story that you overlook the beginning of another. Because your life is still expanding, not ending. Did you feel difference? As I continue turning these cards, I notice the light becomes brighter. That's always tell me one thing. Hope it's returning, not because someone else changed overnight, but because you are remembering who you were before disappointment convinced you duped yourself. This is a great transformation of all. And as we move into the next group of cards, Spirit begins revealing why this entire experience may have been preparing you for something much, much greater than you ordinarily imagined it. Now, look closely at the next card. This is where the energy change again. Up until now, we have been looking at the what has already happened. But this card doesn't stay in the past. It asks a completely different question. Who are you becoming because of everything you are lived through? That question matters far more than trying to understand every detail of someone else's journey. Because life has been a remarkable way of transforming your deepest disappointments into your greatest sources of wisdom. I feel many of you have spent far too much time believing that healing means forgetting. But Spirit says healing is something entirely different. Yeah, healing means remembering without reopening the wound every time you remember. There is a huge difference. You can think about the past without living in the past. You can acknowledge what's happened without allowing it to define who you are today. That is a freedom these cards are pointing toward. As I continue turning them over, I notice something unexpected. A beautiful golden light begins appearing around your energy, not around the other person's, around yours. This tells me that your focus is gradually shifting. You are beginning to invest more energy into yourself than into awareness questions. And this is exactly where your power returns. For some of you, this shift has already started. You begin creating new routines, taking better care of yourself, exploring new interests, meeting new people. So guys, if this information really resonates to you, don't forget follow my channel for more readings. Like this video, comment, I accept this information, and thank you so much for your donation, for your support, what's helped me grow my channel. And for private consultation, you can find some link in the first pinned comments. So thank you for watching and see you soon with love, Atma.